Thanks, Matt. God, it's hard being a streamer. You gotta remember to unmute and everything. For fuck's sake. Appreciate you, Matt. That's helped. Unfortunately, I was talking, but I wasn't unmuted. So thank you very much. No, I was just saying, it's Friday, eh? It's been a busy one. Wood elves, eh? Wood elves. Evening, Lex. Yeah. Hopefully a slightly more relaxed day for you all than I've had, with Wood elves unexpectedly coming. Ended up recording 2 videos and prepping for stream, but that's, you know, that's fine. I'm busy over the weekend, so it's actually kind of good that it happened today. If it happened tomorrow, I just wouldn't be able to respond for like 24 hours or something, which would be a bugger. A little bit of a slow start. If you are here and you haven't already, please do like the stream. Always appreciate the help, and that helps me get picked up by the algorithm, so start getting shown to the people who normally watch. All of that good stuff. You played a 4K game last weekend, playing a 6K game for next week, was Lizardman. Will be probably taking Tomb Kings for the next one against Orcs and Goblins. God damn! That's some big games right there. Some big games. Let's just go... So I recorded a video yesterday afternoon with a really lovely guy who I played against for WTC. Let's see if I can find their channel. I wonder if they've put it up yet. God, my internet is running slow. It's Warhammer Old World. Evening, Gwillem. I haven't seen you around for a while. Good to have you back. Got your list in the system to be sorted. Are you going to the 500 points at the TSN? Got a ticket? I don't think so. When is it? Been busy. That's fair. That is fair. All right. Looks like they haven't uploaded our video yet. That's fair enough. 21st of June. 21st of June. Let's have a look. Rob's offered me a free ticket because I stepped in to sub at an event, which is really lovely of him. He didn't have to do that at all. What do I want to go for? So, obviously not this one. 31st of May. That's pretty close. That is pretty close. Probably not that one either. June 21st. Ooh. And then there's nothing until July. That's interesting. There's a bit of a gap there. Is it a... Oh, it's an RTT. He is lovely. Yeah, he is lovely. Too much real work and not enough old world. That sucks. I'm really sorry to hear that, buddy. I am still looking for real work, which is a problem. But I did have a message from a really lovely chap that I didn't get a chance to talk to at the Saffron Slam, who was inquiring if I was interested in doing coaching, and coaching is something that I've been thinking about doing. But yeah, so got that set up, so he'll be my first official coaching student. So I will likely make some sort of official announcement over the next week or so on Discord. Probably looking to pick up 5 or 6 coaching students per month, ideally. I mean, if you know, it's nuts and people have availability during the day, so I can see people through actual working hours, it would be a good replacement for, you know, actual working. But I feel like it's probably just going to be a side hustle for now, supplementary income. Ironbound's here, as is Matthew. Can't remember if I said hi to you either. My brain's a little bit fried. Combination of this heat and recording so many Wood Elf videos. It's gone well. Sometimes you don't know what's going to go well. Sometimes you have a feeling about what's going to go well. And you sent me a message about that on Discord. Oh, sorry, Matt. I will have a look after stream. So I get messages. Some messages come straight to me. Some messages get filtered out by Discord. And I'll be honest, I've got a lot of message requests just sitting there that I don't look at because there's just too many to realistically filter through without it taking up a significant chunk of my day. But I will have a look through. Hey Voltron, how you doing? Samuel's here. Tips hat, Milady, Fedora, and so much old world news. The WoC article is exciting. Yeah, I probably should have a look at that. Hey, Existence, how you doing? How you doing? In fact, let's have a quick look at that article, because I don't know that I'm necessarily going to do a video about it. I did see someone getting excited about potentially Kislev coming next, which it isn't, unfortunately. Just if anyone was hoping for that, that's not on the initial horizon, or not on the yeah, not coming soon. Basically, what I'm trying to say. The Awakening of the Wood Elves. Hey, Anthony, no worries at all. I don't know if you saw my message on Discord. I did realise that I'd forgotten to message you about your Bretonians, so I will have a look at those and put together some thoughts about where you need to go with the list. What is the redacted Arcane Journal? Well, it could be many things, but it's not Kislev. Kislev, no, but what about Kislev Circus? Hey, Strifey's here. Hello, Strifey. The article is funny about having to admit Beastmen should have come before Wood Elves. Oh, that's funny. Let's have a look. With Beastmen slightly waylaid along the Beast Paths. What have we got here? The Beastmen Journal will be coming out any minute now. I think the next 3 months are going to be pretty jam-packed for Old World, which is great for Old World, great for us as fans of Old World, great for me with a YouTube channel about Old World. So that's all good stuff. Rebirth of Morga the Shadowgrave, the rising power of chaos fueling their fury. The Wood Elves are aware and aren't very keen on this turn of events. Okay. One of the things that I actually used to... Oh! I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
That emoji.
Very good. Thank you, that rat bastard. My entry for the next Fix My List is definitely 100% authentic take on how would you play Bretonians competitively. You can just... That's like a whole week away. If you want to just ping me again in the Bretonian channel, I will have a look at it there. Might wait then 30 minutes, then I'll sleep. Okay, well, what I'll do then, Anthony, is I will very quickly skim through this article, just see if there's anything interesting in there, and then I'll go to your list first. Me in particular. Poor Beastman always last. Someone like G-Dubs doesn't really like them. No, I think you're gonna find... my opinion of the Arcane Journal is that they have done pretty well from it. I think they're one of the better Arcane Journals that we'll see in the upcoming. So I don't think they've done poorly. I think, honestly, the Elves have not made out amazingly well from the Arcane Journals. There's stuff in there I'm really excited about. There's stuff that I'm happy to play around with. But I think Beastmen do okay. Fluff here. There's some mention of a hint about what will come after Grand Cathay. Oh, alright, it'll be at the bottom, right? God, there's so many words. I'll have to read this off stream, I reckon. Let's just Control F Cathay. The problem with having the screen cut so that it shows you, well, shows, you know, what I want to show on screen is it does cut off this. I should probably set that up. Right, let's have a look here. Where is Cathay? After Grand Cathay, we'll have another interesting Arcane Journal planned, which redacted. Oh, thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. It just says redacted.
Frank said no precious smile.
Yeah, here we go. So, when creating armies of infamy, there's always more to consider, of course. The woodlands aspect, spirits aspect is definitely still on my mind. A War Dancer Wild Troop would make a brilliant list, perhaps in a future Arcane Journal. Now, sometimes I know things, and I have to be a bit coy because I don't think it benefits the game to just say everything that you know. And that's not to say that I know a lot, but sometimes people do sort of slide you scraps across the table. This is not me hinting of something I know, but I wouldn't be surprised if once we've done the full 9 that we see, we start seeing a mystery one here, and then we start seeing reruns where maybe we look at like 2 or 3 armies per arcane journal. So you might get 1 detachment per army, and then you have like 2 or 3 depending on how big they want to make the books. Probably 2, I guess, because you normally have 2 in there, with like some magic items, some special rules, maybe a new unit, and an army of infamy for 2 different armies. Bring back the temple dogs. Dogs of War, baby. Southern Realms. It's not Dogs of War, Steve. I mean, I really hope it is, but Dogs of War. There's a lot of hype for Dogs of War in the chat. It's funny, I've never had... Like, I'm not super hyped about Dogs of War as a concept in general. I'm sure that they're cool, and I get why people like them, but I think it's just because I never had them or played with them, because when I was playing, I was a broke boy, even more so than unemployed me currently, so we'll have to see. No chance we see tree spirits. Yeah, that is the vibe that I get. Unless they... Although they could just bring back all of the non... You know, Age of Sigmar models. Just bring back all of the metal stuff. They weren't around as a faction for very long, as far as I recall. Yeah, I think so. I think they've been here for, like, multiple parts. So, like, I want to say they were around for, like, 4th edition and then 7th edition. Or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. They're just cool because they're misfits, weird, exclusive minis, and not a popular army. Yeah, I think that's fair. Would rather have Tilia and Estalia, straight up, but Dogs of War is not that. Yeah, I think that's reasonable as well. That is reasonable as well. I think I want to start with these sort of off the, like, less structured streams. Just probably start having a good 15-20 minute waiting room where we can have a bit chat to start off with. I think that's a good way to do things. It's just nice to get to actually interact about stuff. Dogs of War had a lot of cool stuff. They to be fair, I have googled the models. Kislev is probably a given as they're in Total War. As I understand it, we're not going to see Kislev for a while. Partially, I think, real world politics, but also partially because of the time scale. I think it would make sense to launch them basically as the run up to the Great War against Chaos. Combine it with a Total War army. Yeah. Alright. Cool. Well, before Anthony has to go to sleep, let's have a quick look at your models here. So, this was, I think, your sort of starting point for what you're looking to do with Bretonnians, right? Bretonnians are one of the easier armies to get started with because you can kind of just copy and paste lists, because it doesn't feel like there's a lot of movement with them. They're kind of a little bit solved. I did like this model, and I'm not pointing this out to make fun of you. I just thought it was fun. You've got 3 ward saves on this character, buddy, which is more than you need. So because of your Blessing of the Lady, when you pray, you get a 5-up ward save here against Strength 5 or higher. And then you've got a 6-up ward save against any wound suffered. You've then got a Charmed Shield, and I actually don't hate the Charmed Shield here, because if you get hit by something that's Strength 4, you can just be like, oh, screw it, I'll just take, you know, a slightly better ward save, or if for whatever reason you run away and then you get hit by a cannonball. So I don't hate a Charmed Shield over a normal shield. You know, you're saving 3 points if you drop it, but that's fine. We'll definitely take the Talisman of Protection off, though. That's not necessary. And then you've gone Gilded Cuirass, which is fine. And that's not bad, but you can use a wizard to give a model a regen save. Normally, I'd say you go for the better armor save here, which is +1 to your armor save. It's the only way to get a 2-up armor save in the book, I believe. And then you reroll 1s on your armor saves, and you can also go Syrian's Locket as well, which gives you immune to multiple wounds. This means that when you're fighting against Chaos Lords with, like, Ogre Blades, you're significantly tankier. Gauntlet of the Jewel is fine, and then you've got a few points left over. People often go for the Paymaster's Coin just to get more reliability on trying to get that Virtue of Heroism kill through. Then we've got here the Paladin BSB. looks like you've got it on foot, which is fine. I don't hate that at all. But you do need to take one of the virtues to do that. I think it is virtue of... Is it empathy? Yeah, so normally with your Knight's Vow, you'll see at the bottom here, you can't join a unit with a peasantry special rule because they're dirty. So you spend 5 points virtue of empathy and it lets you join. I think... Is it the questing jet vow? No, it's just the exiles that can join. Also, if you're doing this, I'm not opposed to going like War Banner here, just to getting more static combat res, because I assume it's going in with the men-at-arms. And I like the Blessed Triptych. People have said before that it's only good when people don't know what it does. I'd say 3 out of 5 games at a tournament, people are going to forget to put attacks in. I still forget to put attacks into unit champions sometimes, so having a second unit champion is pretty solid, and with the Blessed Triptych as well, I'd go down that direction. This unit here, you've gone for 6 with the War Banner. I think if you're going War Banner, I'd go bigger. So honestly, I'd probably just take the War Banner off here and go for a slightly cheaper unit. And then you've got the Knights Errant, which are very similar. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know that I'd take a unit champion. I might take a musician instead. And you've got the Peasant Bowmen here that are fine. Over to the Pegasus Knights. Pegasus Knights are really good. I just generally like musicians. They don't have to test a march, true, but they don't actually do as much damage as you think they might. So a couple of unit of Peg Knights is good. So we could go, let's say, 2 units of 4, for example, and then you put in a wizard as well. Something like this. I'm coming to appreciate a wizard on a Royal Pegasus, actually. I was quite impressed by that. So something along the lines of Prayer, Icon of Cornell's, Falcon Horn, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. Oh, too many points. Oh, no, both enchanted items. So, oh, you've got the Falcon Horn already. Something like this, and then you've still got 120 points to fill out, which you could do a lot of different ways. You could go like Trebuchet, you could go for more points in characters, but this is sort of like the building blocks of what I'd go with, and then you can sort of tweak around as you like. So I'm just gonna, let me just whack that into chat. So you've got something to build around that I'd recommend. Rat Bastard says, just stop messing around and bring the legacy factions back into the fold. That'd be good. I think it's going to take a while. My overall view on Old World is everything I want is going to happen. It just might take 10 years. And that's kind of fine, because I'm here for the long haul, right? So, we'll get there. Missing the token Knights of the Realm on Foot unit for trying to beat the Bretonia allegations. Yeah. That's good. Cool. Alright, well, as always, I do prefer to pull up lists of people who are here. And if you are here and haven't already, please do like the stream. That would help massively. There's 35 of you here and there's only 5 likes. Helps me get picked up by the algorithm. You think they'll come back in new forms? Vampire Counts will be Vampire Coast, Skaven will be a specific clan, etc. I don't think that's likely. I think it's more likely that Age of Sigmar is the one that diversifies away from the classic fantasy tropes. Hey, Ultimate Funk, stuck a like on Evening All. Thank you, buddy. Good to have you. Good to have you. So, would you recommend at least 6? You could go 2 units of 3. I like a couple of units of 4, or even a unit of a 4 and a 5, because it's units of 3 lose efficiency very quickly. Oh, you'd have to change your banner, so you go like Banner of Honorable Warfare here instead. But if you don't want to buy 3 boxes, you could go like 1 unit of 5, and then have a model that you could convert into a prophetess. That would be quite a money-efficient way of doing things. Benny, new to Old World, played it as a kid in the mid-90s, hoovering up the content. It's really helpful, thanks. Fantastic. Glad to have you. Did you play other Warhammer games? Did you move to like Age of Sigmar or 40,000? Or have you just decided, you know, I'm now an adult, I've got disposable income, it's time to come back? A lot of us did that. That's a very standard thing to do in the hobby. We go, oh God, I'm 18 now. I can drink and, you know, go out in the evening, and that's where I'm going to spend my time and my effort and my money. And then sort of 15 years later, I remember Warhammer. That was good. I should get back into that. Vampire counts are likely to return now that Age of Sigmar has replaced all, if not most, of the classic undead kits. I agree. I agree. I think Dark Elves first, in terms of likeliness, and then second of all, it is undead. Strifey's become a member. Thank you very much, Strifey. I appreciate that. Tell you what, while I'm here, let me just put your role on Discord, because I am I'll have to do it after the stream. I didn't immediately find you with the search. You'd also say Dark Elves are likely. Yeah, absolutely. Games Workshop played the long game. Agreed. Benny, I did nothing until COVID, where he played Blood Bowl online. Ah, yes. Old World due to the Stormbringer cheap models. What do you get in Stormbringer? Normally you get Stormcast Eternals, which obviously no good for Old World. Since their legacy lists were actually thought out, not rush garbage. So I don't actually think that is... that's not a sign in terms of whether they were expected to come in. So from what I have been told, it was quite late in the day that the legacy factions became legacy factions. They were play-tested and, you know, ready to go until not that many months before actual release, until, you know, at which point things got changed up. 100%, 0% chance Dark Elves make it to the next Cities of Sigma book. Yeah, I agree. You converted them to Chaos. Yes, good shout. Good shout. God, my brain's gone blank. Is it Chris Cousins who did it? I think it's Chris Cousins who did that with his Stormcast Eternal. They look good. I like the conversions he's gone for. So, good shout with that. Fortunately, in 2025, you probably remember from when you played as a kid, there was more of a, oh, that's not right attitude. The more historical wargaming attitude. It's a lot more sort of open, and people, I guess because there was no access to the real models for so long, people have mellowed out a lot with the years. Cool. Right, I better actually get on with fixing these lists, because otherwise we are going to be here all evening, which is not awful, but we should probably make a start. So, Ultimate Funk, I saw your name, so let's have a look at your list. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who did submit a JSON file, including Strifey, or Strife. I've worked out what doesn't work. Unfortunately, Renegades don't export as a JSON file for some reason, but I appreciate you trying. This is madness, so go easy. Nope. Oh, no, if it's madness, I'm going to be telling you. Benny, quick question. Can I run a Soaklord on Flying Carpet for Herald's Darkness? No. You can't run it on a Flying Carpet, unfortunately, because it has to be mounted, and it's a magic item, so it would have to be on a horse or a steed. If you want to send a list, how do I do that? So these streams happen every week, and I open up submissions either on the Thursday evening or the Friday morning. There is a specific list submission channel that I will ping everyone on the Discord at when submissions are open for next week, and you'll be able to put them in there. Just joined. When are you going to win a GT with Wood Elves so you can become King Elf player, King of all Elves? Harry, that is, you know how to appeal to my my ego. I do try to keep any ego under check, but that would be cool. I should have done it before they nerfed bloody Sisters of the Thorn. That would have been better. Alright, cool. Let's have a look. So, High Elves. You've got a BSB Razor Standard with a Reaver Bow and Pure Heart. The Reaver Bow, isn't that terrible? Let's just have a quick look here. 40 points for the Reaver Bow. Strength +1 equal to attacks. Hey, thank you, Anthony. Appreciate you. Good to have you back. So the Reaver Bow, yeah, this is not worth 40 points. So you can take 2 shots at no AP. Yeah, this is not a good 40 points to spend, buddy. We'll just take that off. Phobane, that's a magic bow as well, isn't it? Or am I... No, that's a melee weapon. Cool. So we're gonna move you over to a Bow of Avalon and save you 28 points immediately. Isn't that terrible after a good start? Night, Anthony. See you next time. Wizard on foot, elementalism, law familiar, pure of heart. This is good. You're okay. So just looking holistically, Dave, what are you trying to achieve with this list? What is the goal that you're going for? Just continue looking through as I go. Silvery Wand, Lawmaster's Cloak, Pure of Heart, Battle Magic. This is fine. This is fine, although I probably want to put a Power Scroll on it. In fact, I'm just going to do that now before I forget. Yep. And then you've got the Handmaiden, which is Horn of Ishabo, the Seafarer. It's not that. It's... Just make sure that this is all units joined. Cool. Yeah, this makes sense, both the Seafarer. And then you've got a Unicorn, Wand of Jet, Dark Magic. Wand of Jet is one of those items that technically does things, but cool. So this character, like if you're going Dark Magic, you need to get the spells you want, so we're going to go Lore Familiar. And then this character here, while it's important to get TMP, we're going to swap Lore Familiar to Silvery Wand, because that's almost enough, and you need to get the spells here. Not having the +1 to cast does suck, but, you know, we've got the points to put a Power Scroll on. I found with Lore Familiar and Power Scroll, I wasn't typically struggling to cast my spells. Yeah, and then you've got this no penalty for stand and shoot, so I guess the goal is teleporting the Elven Archers around and shooting them. The problem is this list doesn't have poison shooting, and elves are too expensive to do the poison shooting brick even if they had it. So you've kind of indexed really heavily into, I'm afraid to say, a list idea that I don't think works unless I'm missing something. If I am missing something, please do let me know. Because it's just on the maths, right? So you've got the Elven Archers. So assuming a normal turn, so you've got 39 shots. Let's say, best case scenario, you go 9 wide. No, you've got characters, so you go 11 wide. You're 11 wide, and you've got probably 3 characters in there, so that's 42. So the front row, you're getting 8 shots, and then you're getting, 6 for the remaining rows? So we're talking 26 shots, assuming you've stood still and you're volley firing, which is not going to happen all that much, but you'll get it on the first couple of turns. So you've got 26 shots, and turn 1 you're going to be shooting at long range. So let's say that you're hitting on 4s, so you're going to divide that by 2. You've got 13 hits, and then you're fishing for the razor standard wounds, so you're dividing by 6. You've got 2.16 wounds that actually get AP from them, and the rest of them, if you're shooting into something that matters, you're potentially getting another 2 wounds that have no save. So best case scenario, you shoot into clan rats with no shields, and you kill 4 clan rats with this unit. And that's standing still, volley firing, and only having a long range penalty. I guess you can then elementalism. The problem is you're just not converting enough dice rolls to wounds, even before the saves. Yeah, no, that's fair. So the problem, Dave, is that if you don't have poison, the math just doesn't work for shooting bricks. I think I started tweaking the characters, but I actually don't think there is a way to tweak this into a playable list for High Elves specifically, just because there's no way to convert this unit into doing damage. What you could do is you can do the classic Sisters of Avalon. You take like 30 of them, and then you go Wizard Support, and this does have the output to get there. So you go, I don't know, you don't need ambushes. You go stubborn and give them the Ruby Ring of Ruin or something like that. And then this unit, it still doesn't kill anywhere near as much as you want it to, but you can play it quite aggressively. It doesn't need the Razor Standard on the Noble. Like here, you go... you can go Banner of Confidence, but that makes people less likely to charge you. So let's just go War Banner, so you're more likely to win the combats. You go Halberd here, so you can strikes first attacks or use your shield if needed. Let's go Dragon Helm, and in fact, let's go for a Charm Shield, get rid of the normal shield. And then we just change things up. You're stacking all the buffs from the spells and the +1 hit from the Handmaiden. The problem is there's not really any like buffs to stack, so you can reroll ones to hit, and you can stop them from getting armor saves. But even like, so 26 shots. If I just do the maths on that, so 26 shots. Let's assume you're hitting it. Best case scenario. Let's assume you're hitting on 3s. So divided by 3 times 2. And then you're re-rolling ones, so the odds on that is divide by 6 times by 7. That gives you mathematically re-rolling ones. So you've got 20 hits. Then, in this sort of like best case scenario where you're volley firing, you're 11 models wide, you then still don't get much. So you divide that by 6, and you've got 3.3 wounds that get Armor Bane, and you've got another 3 wounds that would be no armor save. So that's like, if you're shooting into T4, you're probably doing 4 wounds. If you're shooting into T3, actually, I was wrong with my Skaven example. I forgot you were wounding on 4s. You might kill 8 or 9 Skaven, but you've used your entire army to do that. Word of Pain doesn't give you rerolls for shooting, I'm afraid. That only gives you rerolls for melee. Oh no, Word of Pain's the hex, right? Yeah, I think unfortunately it just doesn't get there in terms of the actual math on it. If you want to make a shooting unit happen for Isles, you've got the Sisters of Avalon. You just take 30 of them, and then you combo them with 2 Archmages. One of them is Elementalism for TMP. One of them is either Battle Magic or High Magic. Make the Handmaiden the General here. Yeah, like this is the base core of it, and then Shadow Warriors unfortunately don't actually do any damage despite being elite shooting units. The list that Charlie runs, he runs Dragon Princes, because if you're running this shooting, you want something aggressive to actually deal with them in melee. So I think he goes like probably a couple of units to 7. I haven't looked at his list for a hot minute. And then you could just take off the bolt throwers on here. So like something like this. Yeah, like it's unfortunate that the maths doesn't get you there, but it just doesn't. Normal bows just can't do anything without, like, the reliability increase of wounding on 6s to hit, as opposed to having to hit half or a third of the time, and then also, you know, wound less than that. Part of the reason the poison shooting works is you teleport it around to hunt the big dragons, and the entire unit sees, and because you're wounding on 6s to hit, you'll end up doing a lot more damage. But if you're teleporting and you're hitting on, let's say, 4s, and then you're wounding on 6s to wound, that's 3 times less wounds than you'd have been doing if it was just 6s to hit. So there's a lot of unfortunate maths that goes into it, because I'd like shooting to be good. I'm not going to paste this because I don't think this is a good version of the list, but if you want to see a good Sisters of Avalon list, have a look at Charlie Hanley on Old World Rankings. His list that he's been taking to events, or did take to events, I don't think he's been playing them for a while. That's the sort of thing that I build from. Okay, who else have we seen here? Ironbound. I saw your name. Let's have a look. Wolves of the Sea. So, let's just have a look in here. Were there any notes with this one? I should really start putting in the name of the list whether there's notes. That's something that I can do for next time. Remember to do that. So, it was pretty high up in the list, I think. Ah, yes, here we go. The list you're going to be playing for the Old World League's online GT. Too late to fix. Interested in hearing feedback. Elves too good for poison or something? I think it's not very honourable, poison. Of course, wood elves do it, but... yeah. Okay. Too haughty. Yeah, I think that's fair. So you've gone for your Wolves of the Sea, so you can't have a Chaos Lord. And you've gone for the level 4. So level 4, Tome of the Dark Gods, Undivided, Spell Familiar Demonology. This is a good blaster setup, and then obviously it goes with the unit of Marauder Horsemen here with Mark of Zinch. No. The Huskars with Mark of Zinch, I guess. Wood Elves cheat, yeah, I agree. So you've got 2 units of Huskars. Is one of these your bunker for the Wizard? Oh, I guess your Demonology, so you can actually churn out the... Demonic Vessel, Demonic Figure. Okay, that's fine. Skinwolves are good. Yeah. So I think this list is... This list feels fine. I don't love the second wizard just to take Infernal Puppet, but I don't think it's necessarily a problem. I'd probably just go Nurgle, Demonology, and Infernal Puppet on this character, and then you've got 200 points more to spend. Goes for the Skinwolves. Oh, okay, the 7 is for the other Exalted Sork. Right, okay, I see. I understand. Sure. Yeah, I don't know how this list deals with the dragon, because the Exalted Champion's not going to. I do not like Giant Blade if you can't get additional AP on it. This model is pretty tanky, but it'll still die to a dragon in, like, 1, maybe 2 rounds of combat. And... you're still giving up a lot of combat res because of the regen. I don't think this is it. Like, I'd rather have a lance or a great sword or anything else, honestly, over a giant blade. Because the things that you want to do 2 damage into will all have armor saves as the problem. Ah, okay, so they're ruling it that you can actually get the additional AP. Okay, fair enough. That does change things. Sorry, in my head, that's just not working anywhere. If dragons are good, why don't people take the Sword of Dragon Slaying? It's not in enough lists. Even at the start of the edition, when it was, you know, dragons were more present, it just wasn't doing... It doesn't do enough into the bad matchups. So Bretonians are really good. They don't have dragons. Undead is really good. They often don't bring dragons. So you're spending, like, you've got an entire character that kind of just does nothing in those other matchups. If you could bring a great weapon and a dragon slaying sword and use the great weapon the rest of the time, that'd be good. But, yeah, it just doesn't do it here. List built around the Exalted Champ taking advantage of the warp form and also getting demonology buffs. Yeah, that's fine. If it works for your tournament, then I think this is a good list. I'm not 100% sure how you kill a dragon, but I guess you just kind of have to avoid it, right? I played against Paul Lowe, who had 3 units of 6 Skinwolves, just running around solo. That felt solid. I did manage to catch him through some frenzy baiting, which is a weakness of the list into dragons, but I think I like that more than putting all your eggs in one basket, especially because you can't skirmish the Skinwolves when you've got a character in there, because they've got the different base size. Is it base size or unit type? One of the two stops it. Let's have a look here. Skirmishers. Yeah, so it's only the same category of sub-troop type. So you have to be in a ranked up unit, which is fine, but I feel like a good chunk of the strength for me of Skinwolves is the fact that they are monstrous infantry with movement 7 and swift stride, so they can't be countercharged, and they've got the 360 line of sight. Yeah. No, I think it's fine. I want to play around with loads of Skinwolves, but just sort of normal. But the problem is I don't love the Berserks, because they are good. They just give up a lot. Like, I parked my dragon in front of some Berserks on turn 1. My opponent had to charge me, and then the Skinwolves were... I just turned to face them and charged them on my next turn. I'm playing in this tournament too. You packed 2 dragons. Hell yeah. Well... Someone should have taken the Dragon Slaying Sword then. Played against list with 3 units of Skinwolves. It's just so much stuff on the board. Yeah, it's a lot. To be honest, if it wasn't the objective scoring rules, I absolutely would have taken more Skinwolves, but they can't score. Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame. But yeah, no, I think this is. I'm not saying wrong. I think this is a good list. I would have done some things differently. Even if I was going for bunkering in. I don't love the Infernal Puppet, but I guess it makes more sense if you're planning on the Skin Wolves being in combat. Okay. It's just slightly different to how I would approach building the list, but I don't think that makes it worse. Wasn't expecting people to take as many dragons. Yeah, dragons are dragons, man. I played in one of them for 2 games and then dropped because I took Heralds of Darkness and I didn't even look at the map pack, and the terrain made playing full cavalry buses and chariots very unappealing. What do I think of Polish players? I don't have an opinion on them as a group. I don't think there's anything to say there, really. Just, yeah. I mean, I know Poland as a community comes up with good lists in Warhammer generally, coming from a 40k background. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they pull out at WTC. But yeah, no strong feelings either way on the players themselves. All right, so I haven't changed your list, Ironbound, so I'll not link that one. Brave after his recent video, very good. Who else have we seen here? So Strifey, I did see. Where's your list? Let's have a look at these Dark Elves, because you are here. You're very welcome, Ironbound. You've decided the best way to handle objective scoring is to kill my opponent before they score objectives. Yeah, that's the problem with objective scoring. That is definitely one of the ways you can go. Right, so this list, you went the normal core, the Dark Riders. I might have to rework the core if I'm coming back to Dark Elves, because Scouts no longer being the thing makes me want to do things differently. I'm probably changing the numbers here. So you've gone 10 and 6. I think just go 2 units of 8, because you can go 1 Banner of Harganeth and 1 with the Demonology Caster, and that kind of just gets both of them to roughly the same effectiveness. The Master, you've gone for a repeater crossbow. I'm assuming that means that the Master's not necessarily going to be in the unit. Maybe. Wizarding Hat Charm Shield, I think, is fun. I need to test that, see if it works as well as we kind of assume it might. I feel like if you're on a mount, you can just go for a lance here. May as well use your strikes first. Does it matter, actually? No, you got strikes first. Let's just go great weapon. That's probably fine. And then, so here, you've got the Cold One character that's going Lore Familiar Demonology. This is going to buff up the unit that it's attached to. Then you've got the Supreme Sorceress, who is going to blast things to pieces. And then you've got... Right, yeah. Are you here, Strifey? Hey, you had points left. Yeah, okay, cool. That makes sense. So, you've gone Dark Magic, Focus Familiar, Power Scroll, Arcane Familiar. What is the build here? Because I am missing what this does. I don't understand the Arcane Familiar and Dark Magic pick, honestly. Is it just to pick up, like, the Demonology signature spell or something? Because I don't think 2 spells into Dark Magic is particularly appealing. 1 spell into Dark Magic. No, I don't like rolling 1 spell in Dark Magic at all. Still feels like it's missing something. Second source of Troll Magic. I don't think that works the way you want it to, unfortunately. So the Arcane Familiar knows spells from 2 laws of magic, but you still have to be able to pick from that lore, I believe. Yeah, I don't think it does work with Arcane Familiar, unfortunately. So I think, honestly, we can just scrap this character off. So we've got this here. Yeah, cool. You probably want a BSB as well. Just trying to think how to maximize this. There's 318. There is enough for the Beastmaster as well. I am tempted to see if this works at all. Playing against Ian, it made me go, maybe there's something here that isn't completely worthless. I mean, there probably isn't, but what if there is, you know? hand weapon whip, cav spear. Something like this. And then we're going to have to cut a lot to get down. We're still 31 points over. Troll Magic OP can't be shared with other armies. You're wrong, Matthew, because we've got a wizarding hat in this list. Maybe some chaff. This is your chaff. You've got the core. Like, this is probably terrible, but what if it isn't? It's worth playing around with, I think. Never played Dark Elves in the Old World, do you think? Like you say, it plays well into Poison Box, still struggles with Darkens. Yeah, like, I don't know. I think this might be one that we just need to keep workshopping, because I don't feel like this is it. And I don't know how we get there. I'll be honest, I haven't actively written any Dark Elf lists since I put the video up, though. I'm not really sure what I'd want to do with this. Double Wizard is probably fine. Honestly, maybe it's just double, like, Spell Wizard. Which I know makes the rest of it a bit worse, but... So... Well, this was meant to be Battle Magic, I think. Oh, was it meant to be Battle Magic? Dark Elves are hard to make strong and fluffy. Yeah, well, fluffy, not even attempting that, buddy. we're just going for strong here. Unfortunately, fluffy lists are not something Dark Elves have as a luxury. So maybe we just go double blaster here. And then we can get rid of that. This character here is fine. Kind of want it to be a BSB, but oh, that's probably too many eggs in one basket. One battle, one demonology. Yeah. I think if we're going the double blaster here, this is fine. We could even go triple wizard. Let's bin this off. And let's go Sorceress level 2. Honestly, triple focus familiar is probably excessive. Let's just go 2. Let's go 2, because we've got to shave some points, right? Tome of Furin. Oh, I've given it Talisman Protection. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to give it Lore Familiar, but I'm actually going to put it on this character here. Battle Magic. Focus Familiar 2. Lore Familiar. So this gives us potentially 3 Fireballs and Pillars of Fire. And Ogdras. Yes. This Beastmaster is maybe the weak link, but honestly it's probably fine. What's he got against shooting? A 3-up save against shooting, non-magical shooting. And it's T4 -1 strength for incoming attacks. That's probably okay. This feels like a decent base. One of them has to be the general, so let's make the least useful one the general. So we're actually going to take the Ruby Ring of Ruin off you, and we're going to put it on the one with the Tome of Furion, because you're more likely to have magic missiles. So then if this one doesn't get anything, it can kind of just chill and play safe. Yeah, Dark Riders are fine. And then we're a few points over. Honestly, do we need 2 units of Cold Ones? Probably. But let's come back to that. So we're going to go 2 Obsidian Lodestones on this character. And then maybe it's the Reaper Bolt Throwers and you just put like 1 on each flank. Like, I don't think they're necessarily good, but we need something that does damage. It's like, maybe it's just this. Oh, you're on foot. You should not be on foot. You should be on a Dark Steed. Yeah. I just need to shave a couple of points here somewhere. Honestly, General can just be on a Dark Steed as well. And we'll give the General an additional Focus Familiar. And then we're a few points under. And we can go Unit Champion. Something like this, I think, is more interesting. Oh, does the High Beastmaster have... Ooh. Suddenly our General is potentially going to give up a lot of points. I think this is fine, though. Okay. This is a draft of the list. Ah, perfect. By pinging you, I can give you a roll. Oh, you've got Longbeard applied already. Fantastic. Feel like this potentially wrecks Tomb Kings with 2+ triple pillar. Yeah. This is the anti-undead tech here. I think this is okay. Line of sight, Doom Totem, just the -1 leadership to enemy units, only count if the chariot's out of combat. Depends what Doom. I think Doom Totem says just if they can see it, so if the enemy unit is blocking line of sight, then it would prevent them from taking a penalty. Yeah, it definitely needs iterations, but this is probably what I'd play around with. I think this is vaguely interesting in terms of what we could do with it. Yeah, we're going to leave that one there for now, though, because we're 50 minutes in, and I've been chuntering too much. Been enjoying talking. So, who else will let you know if I'm... Oh, cool. You know most of the models of it. Ah, sweet. Hello, Tistic. It is a good stream. I'm enjoying it. I haven't got to your list yet, but I can do that one now. I remember you were fairly hot off the press. Your list was submitted pretty early. Don't hesitate to say if you think it's crap. And that was the only message on there. All right, let's have a look at this, buddy. Oh. Right, so I can click here. Ah, there we go. Cool. So we've got Core Hill on foot. Okay. Chieftain, T8, Cedar Rebirth, Ring of Fury. I think I might want to make him tankier, but we can have a look at that in a second. Moon Dragon, Cedar Rebirth. Elementalism. Let's just take the plunge and go Star Dragon here. Like, a T5 dragon just doesn't cut it in the world of wanting to stay alive, unfortunately. So we'll go with a T6 dragon here. Ian, don't hesitate to say it's crap. Sage advice. You've been on the receiving end of that one. Okay, so I don't think this is crap. I don't think this is crap at all. But I don't think it's tuned, which is what I'd say. So you've got this unit here that is going to be re-rolling their charges. You've gone for Rings of Fury in the unit, which I think is fine. You've got Veteran in there, which is nice as well. And they're going to be joined by the T8 Chappie, who is the Trace Chieftain. Let's drop the Ring of Fury because... not T8, T4. The main thing we want from this guy is to stay alive. So we're going to give him the Circlet of Atrazar, which gives you +1 wound and +1 toughness, which takes him to 4 wounds at T5, I believe. That is correct. 4 wounds at T5 with a regen and heavy armor. That's pretty respectable. It does take us to 3 points too many. That's okay. So Core Hill can stay as he is. Star Dragon... Honestly, let's just take the Ruby Ring of Ruin out of here. One of the best things about High Elves is your Ruby Ring does not need to come out of your character allocation. Yeah, this is fine. This is all pretty decent, I think. The lore here, you could change the lore. Doesn't the Circlus only do T5 if infantry or cav? That is correct. But the chieftain that it's on is on foot, because it's going in the unit of White Lions. So then we've got some small units of archers, which are super fine. You can put them into marching column, which I think is a solid way to play them, and just use them as annoying pieces on chariot. No, I think I said not on chariot when I was talking about Core Hill, because I do like Core Hill on a chariot. Is Elementalism right here? I guess it gives the ward save to the White Lions, but they're going to be in combat a lot. I guess it's fine. It's not bad. It's a good lore to have in general. Yeah, that's okay. A couple of line chariots. I'm not in love with these in terms of using them outside of having characters on them, but they're also not awful. And if you find that your meta's not particularly lethal to them, you can probably get away with having them. So we're going to go... Ooh, we're very high over on points. How are we so high over on points? I've got a lot of points to get here. Don't really want to go down to 5. 5 with the ruby ring does not feel as good as... it's... Okay, so we've got 5. We're capped at points on core. That's the problem with these 660s. It's really hard to fit max points here and then other stuff. We definitely don't want to go down to T5 here. That's not, I think, a choice that we should be making. The core is fine. I personally would probably not run either of the line chariots, but if you want to run one, it's not the end of the world. But you could do something like this instead, where you go 1 unit with the Bow of the Seafarer, 1 unit with the Ruby Ring, and then you drop the chariots like this, and then you just go 2 units of 9. So what this has done is you've still got the big Death Star, but the Death Star might just get avoided all game. So with that in mind, you've got a dragon who's got some range damage, but is pretty happy to mix it up in combat. You've got some 2 units of sisters that will between them chip off some points, especially between the magic items. And then you've got these units here that don't give up many points and are annoying for your opponent to deal with. So I think something like this is probably more how I'd go if I wanted to run the White Lions. The other option is to make this unit a little bit smaller, because 28 is huge, frankly. And then you could run some Trace and Woodsman. But I'm not going to play around with that too much. I think having the big brick is not bad. It's points denial, right? So that's definitely something that you can play around with. But hopefully that gives you some thoughts about the direction that you might want to take the list in, or any tweaks that you want to go with. As always, any lists that are fixed on the stream, if you've got any thoughts, if you play with the list and you go, actually, this doesn't work the way I want it to, feel free to, post in the correct channel for whichever army it is, ping me, at me on the Discord, and I will have a look at any changes you've made when I get a chance. Lovely. Who else we got here? I have seen Matthew recently, so let's have a look at Matthew. Matthew said he was going to a doubles event, and I think you're playing the Empire, if I am correct. Let me just have a quick look in this chat. Got a doubles list, reflecting on the unit, but want to Empire plus Dwarves. Okay, so I did have a quick look at these together. So you've gone basically double Wizard here, which is good. Illusion, Power Scroll, Lore Familiar, solid. You're the Dwarves, Friend is Empire. Okay. So the cannons are good. Having Wizards is good, but I don't think I want this to be on foot. Although I guess you've not really got anything to hide it in. Honestly, you could go 1 engineer here. You don't need to go 2 wizards, two engineers for just 2 cannons. 1 between the 2 is probably okay. We've got months so we can pay anything we're missing. Cool. Let's optimize this then. So you've gone for 6 White Wolf Icon and more. I think that's fine, but I don't love it. I'd rather just have a bigger unit with drilled and stubborn. So let's just cut that for now. And the archers are fine, but also your okay, so let's put 1 unit of archers in. Yeah, they're fine, but you're not upset at going for less drops as an empire. Oh no, you need more. I almost got caught out with an illegal list here. Very unlike me. One of the lists need to have 3 units. Yeah, exactly. So here we go. That's what we're doing. because I was almost a muppet. So, Law Familiar Power Scroll, that's fine. Do they have Skirmish natively? Yes, they do. Go. Peg Battle Magic. This we want to give the Ruby Ring of Ruin, and we want to give it... We probably can't justify giving it Tome of Midnight at 30 points, but let's see if we can, actually. 1061. So, literally, yeah. We just have to make cuts here. So, let's go smaller. God, that's so annoying that 6 is the right number. That puts you 5 points over. So, let's just down... Oh, Pegasus is good, though. I do like the Pegasus. Okay, so maybe we just drop the Tome of Midnight and we accept that that's not going to happen and we're just going to roll on the battle magic. I don't love that either. Okay. Okay. So we're doing that and then we're just going to go... I guess we can drop the Musician here. That feels a bit rough, but I think this is okay. So I haven't actually tweaked much, but I've put the Ruby Ring of Ruin on the Wizard. I should probably look at the Dwarves before I link it, but I'm not going to, because I remember what was in there. It was less about the shooting and more about the melee. So I think this is a pretty solid amount of shooting. You've got a Battle Magic Castle with the Ruby Ring of Ruin, 1 Engineer, double cannons, and then the Illusion Caster to back up your Dwarves. You might not need an Engineer for 2 cannons. I'd take 1. I think taking 1 is probably worthwhile. And then you've got Grudge Thrower, Iron Drakes, Longbeards, Thane. Yeah, so you've gone for the full Ward Save, Smiting, Rune of Preservation. Preservation is no multi-wounds, right? Killing Blow, multi-wounds. Yeah, cool. I think this is good. Can you fit... You've got 25 points. You can't take Grommel, can you? No, it's too many. So you've just got the full plate. Shield Bearers don't give +1 to save, do they? No, they just give the wounds. That's fine. So this is going to be hard for people to deal with. 17 Longbeards is okay. You've given this... You know what? We're going to be greedy here. And we're going to go... Oh, you haven't got Shield Bearers. God, points are tight though, aren't they? So let's go for the normal shooting loadout on this character. Oh, it's too many points. Too many points. Heartbreaker. Can't do Royal Clan in teams. Yeah, oh. Is this Warhammer World? I did see that stupid rulings. I was going to make a video on it and I was away, so didn't get around to it. 34 points too many. I don't think there's anything we could realistically drop here. No. Okay, we just can't go for the shooting. That is a shame, because that would have been nice. So we'll just go back to Great Weapon. Can we fit 38 points remaining? What in the world? Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily anything you need to fit in there. The Longbeards, you could definitely drop this a little bit. You don't need to be so many. Hesitation. Okay, so we're going to go Rune of Courage. You do not want your Death Star to be teared off the board. That is pretty non-negotiable. And we can't fit a Rune of Battle in there. That's a bugger. I think we probably don't go hand... Let's just go Hand Weapon and Rune of Battle. Because you're not on a Shield Bearer, you've only got 2 wounds, you're probably just going to want to try and be as tanky as possible, because this is providing a lot of your defense. So you don't want to lose that. So then the Longbeards... We can't go battle with that as well. That's a shame. Oh, the Longbeards want shields for sure. Give you that flexibility. Wait, the Longbeards didn't have any upgrades in this list. Is that right? It must be, because I copied and pasted it. They want to have great weapons and shields. Drilled, honestly, you could maybe get away with not having if you're struggling for points. Okay, and then you've got the 8 Cinderblast bombs. Trollhammer torpedo. I like the Cinderblast bombs, but we're really squeezed on points here, so we're just going to drop that. And I think we might have to drop... Yeah, so down to 7, and then the Grudge Thrower, we're going to give it the Rune of Reloading. So this is good, because obviously you get to shoot even if you misfired and malfunctioned, but also it makes your attacks magical. So if you come into Troll Horde, which I think is probably quite good in doubles, that's obviously good, as you know, magical attacks. But there's just a lot of times that having the magical attacks is worth doing. Ethereal, you can kill Banshees if people bring those, something like that. Cool. Do you think hesitation is worth it? I was wondering if it was already good enough and might stop people charging. Nah, probably just drop it, honestly. It's so many points. Let's just go run a battle here, and you get one more model in. It's not that many, but... Banshee's also banned. Oh, that's... Trolls are banned. Well, yeah, of course. Of course. I hadn't even considered that. Honestly, Strolaz's Rune is probably decent here, but I don't want to spend the points on it. But yeah, so you can tweak around the last few points. I don't want to just... Yeah. You could take off the Rune of Hesitation. I think that's probably fair. Green Knight. Yeah. Grand Armies only. Yeah, they've ruled that you can't have Arcane Journal Armies of Infamy with allies because they're not balanced around that, which is just... No one's balanced around doubles. Shut up. Whatever. Anyway, yes. So that is the core of what I'd go with. Maybe take off Hesitation, put on Rune of Battle, put in an extra Longbeard or two. Something like that. Cool. Yeah. Alright. Who else is here? I did see Ian. Saw your name pop up, and you said Empire. I feel like you just picked the worst armies to give me an aneurysm. Oh, you're welcome, Matthew. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's have a look at what Ian put. Something a bit different. Limited by models. This is early days for the Empire, if you can keep to the vibe, but suggest a way. I mean, I'm not going to take them out, but the first thing is get rid of these veteran state troops and the missile troops. I think everything else is pretty decent, honestly. So, and also, your points don't line up with what I've got on Old World Builder for some reason. These Knights of More come out as 10 points more expensive in Old World Builder than wherever you've put your list together. I don't think I've done anything wrong. Yeah. So, what you've got here, this Grandmaster, I think the Grandmaster is interesting. And you've gone for Knights of More, which is fine. But, Tom, who I played at Saffron Slam, has put me onto the Order of the Fiery Heart, because you reroll hits and wounds of 1 made during the combat phase. That just seems really good if you're going Ogre Blade. So maybe if you try that, I think that's probably solid. Because obviously this is your Ogre Blade, White Cloak, Barded Warhorse, so you've 4 attacks, you'll be hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s, you'll be wounding on into a dragon 4s, rerolling 1s. So it's a good amount of reliability there, which I think is good. You've got the Wizard Lord with... You've got him on foot, but he can't join the unit because he's got the Tome of Midnight. State troops are there because I have them, that's it. Yeah, I figured that was it because of the... you said models are limited. This wizard... Armor of... I don't know if you saw it, not Armor of Tarnus, the Tome of Midnight. You've got the Loner special rule, so you're not able to actually join into this unit here, which I think, at which point, I don't know that Demonology is worth doing, because that's a lot of, like, self-buffing. Or you could go Lore Familiar. So let's... I'm just going to change that over to Lore Familiar, because I'm assuming you wanted to put them in the unit to make the state troops potentially do something with Steed of Shadows into Demonic Vessel. Engineer, I think I would take both the weapons off here, realistically. Because I think the engineer just wants to be near the artillery, and a lot of the time that's not going to be useful, or you're going to be running away and you don't want to lose an extra sort of like 40 points on weaponry. So I'd put another wizard in, honestly. So like a wizard lord on Pegasus, battle magic, Ruby Ring of Rune, a Tome of Midnight to get a 5th spell, something like this. I think is a better place to put your offensive magic output. And then you've still got this character that's buffing up the veteran state troops. Empire Knights, I would like to go bigger here, but I'm assuming, again, that you're limited to 12 Knights, and you've got 6 here and 6 of the Knights of More. So, if we're changing over to the Fiery Heart, and this isn't, like, necessarily you have to do this, I just... The more I think about it, the more I think it seems like a pretty impressive way to build them. The Tapestry of Sigmar's Triumph, rerolling 1s to wound, you've just got that built in from your Order of the Fiery Heart, which I think is really strong. So here you could potentially go Icon of More, which would give them fear, makes them immune to terror, or you could do just the classic War Banner, but I think something like this is fine. What else are we looking for? Yeah. It's a little difficult, because I think Cannon's good. I don't want to cut that. The Hellblaster volley guns are good as well. Don't want to cut those. But we are points over. So maybe the way to do it, because I think Demigryph Knights and Inner Circle Knights, I prefer the Demigryph Knights. So maybe we just remove this and we buff up the number of Empire Knights here in core a little bit. Because I think 6 is a little bit lackluster, honestly, and you're over points there. 2 cannons and an engineer would be a great way to add to it, but again, just respecting that you don't want to add too many models to it. Something like this, and then an extra 40 points or so would be solid. I'm just trying to think what you'd put in without tweaking too much. This doesn't need Power Scroll, it should get the spells off. Like, I guess a Power Scroll here is not bad, because you are going to be within dispel range quite a lot. So that's probably good. Yeah. Something like this, and then you've got a few points to spend, so let's give this unit light armor as well. Just keep it consistent between the two, and then you're just a few points under. But I don't think there's anything that... Yeah. So this is more vibes as opposed to, like, specifically what I'd go with. Like, down to the last point. So... yeah, I think that's okay. I'd also probably put the Grandmaster on a Demigryph as well, but on a Barded Warhorse is fine. But I think this is tweaked more in the direction you want it to go without having to, you know, spend loads of money to make it work in a different way. Cool. Let's have a look at some more lists. So, there was a list here that I don't think had any notes on it from memory. The Great Victorian Blokes Nomadic War list, which was a couple of war bosses, Black Orc war bosses, a regular big boss with a BSB Banner of Butchery, a weird knob here with the Idol of Gork, and then chariots, wolf riders, big bus of orcs. Hated Undead is great. That's fair, you know. There's something to be said about teching for your local meta. Feel free to swap back to Knights of More then if you need all the juice you can squeeze out against that guy. So I think when you're going Nomadic War, there's a lot of different ways that you can go. And I don't know that any of them are like super better or worse. I like 2 smaller units, but I'm not going to change this from 1 big to 2 small, because I think that's a playstyle preference. So let's just tweak within. This character's good. Glowy Green Amulet and Trollhide Trousers means it's very difficult for you to actually cast spells on the unit that he's going to be bunkered in. This character here on the chariot is decent as well. You know, the Grizzly Trophy Rack making it so that you're making their leadership lower when you win on combat. I don't know if it's worth doing on a chariot, but it's fine. I'd definitely be giving them great weapons, though, instead of just leaving them a hand weapon shields. This character here, Banner of Butchery for the +1 strength and the charge, is really nice. Everything else on here makes a lot of sense. You don't even need to go for anything. I'd probably put just, you know, a Charmed Shield on him. It's super cheap to give you that extra little bit of save. And then here we've got Idol of Gork and the Thinking Orc's Hat. So this is meaning that you're not necessarily going to be charging into the unknown when you don't want to. However, I think it's more important to just have the spells that you want in Elementalism, because the Lore of Gork, I don't think there's anything in here that's super worth having. There's an okay Assailment, and there's an okay Magic Missile, but I don't think that really plays to your strengths any more than actually picking the spells that you want from Elementalism. I'd probably go War Magic or Battle Magic, honestly. In fact, something like this might be better. But, you know, your mileage may vary, so I'm just going to leave it as it stands. Otherwise, I think everything in here kind of just makes sense. Oh, no, we do want to give these great weapons as well. Which means that we're now... Oh, sweet. We're not even over on points. Perfect. I think just something like this is good. Oh, that was something I wanted to change as well. I would probably just give these units unit champions as well, if you can. We might have to take it off. We're 12 points over. And then we take off the extra giant wolves. Yes, that was the change I wanted to make. So the giant wolves will add some minor output. The boss will add leadership, which it's not great leadership, but you're less, you know, more likely to rally, less likely to run away. So something like this, I think, is good for the Nomadic War. But I think it's a good vibes-based Nomadic War list. I'd probably go for 2 units of pigs instead of just the 1, but you do you. I don't think it's bad to do so. And then we're just making sure that we've got the right weapons equipped on the Black Orc chariots mostly. Cool. Let's look at Fire Guy's Royal Clan as well next. His was pretty high up in the submission table. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully the volume on the music isn't a problem. I did check in with the stream when I put it on last time, and people said it was fine, but then the comments on the video after the fact were that the music made it really hard to listen to, which is I'm not sure how that discrepancy comes about, but I've turned it down from where it was last week, so hopefully it's not causing any issues for anyone to hear. Can't even hear the music. Alright, fair enough, it must be really low then. It's just good for me to listen to. We'll see what the comments say. It's a good blind test. Music seems very pleasant now. That's good. Alright, so Royal Clans. What did Fire Guys say? Save? Oh god. Words are hard. Words are hard. Let's see. RTT focuses on play around capturing area-based objectives where only infantry can capture. We see very few dragons. Oh, you lucky, lucky boy. You lucky, lucky boy. Okay. So, Longbeards and Royal Clan Warriors. Bogman's Cart, Grudge Thrower, Androx Rangers. Okay. This feels fine. Doomseeker. Mastering. Okay, so there's probably some efficiency tweaks we can make here, but I feel like the list is pretty solid. So you've got 3 times Rune of Fury, Master Rune of Cromwell. That's funny. That's so many attacks. And if you're not facing against dragons, I guess smiting is less important. Okay. So you're just hitting real hard. And you've got a 2-up save. I would want Rune of Preservation in there, but I guess if you're not playing it, you're not having to deal with a lot of Killing Blow. I'd be worried about Killing Blow. Let's put that on. I'm worried about Killing Blow. Also, I definitely want Shield Bearers here. We don't need a shield because you've gone for the Rune of Gromril. Cool. And then you've got the Thane, who is Grogny, Spellbreaking, Shield, Full Plate. This is good. Then you've got a Thane who is a melee Thane. I'm surprised you haven't got a shooting Thane in here, honestly. He does so much damage. Like, you could remove this Grudge Thrower and put in a shooting Thane. I know it's more points, but like the damage it does is frankly unreasonable. So like this, 138. I don't know that I actually care so much about this additional melee character. I wouldn't bother with a standard bearer. I'd want the throwing axes as well. I'd want the shields as well. Which does take us over in points, so let's just go down to slightly less. I mean, honestly, I don't know that 10 rangers is enough to be worth running, but let's just go down to 9, but we've made them more efficient. In fact, I don't want to go down to 9. For some reason, the rangers, it feels wrong to go that low. So let's go shave a couple of Iron Drakes, because we also need to be under here. 19 Longbeards. We can just cut to like 16 and 17. I'm assuming the Royal Clan Warriors get the Thane, and the Longbeards get the other unit. Hell yeah. We'll just put a list together using the Wild Hunt list from the previews from a game in about an hour. Looking forward to trying out the new toys. If you're on the Discord, please do let me know how you're doing in the Wood Elf channel, and do at me, because I'm interested to hear how they play. Papa Wheelie says the music's dialed in nicely. That's good. That's good. We've got a good range of opinions there, but no one says it's a problem, so I'm pleased about that. What do we need to do? We need to shave 24 points. 2 Runes of Fury gets you up to 5 attacks. 2 Runes of Shielding gets you to a 5 up ward. How much do I care? Like, 3 Runes of Spellbreaking. You probably don't want to go below 3, honestly. Oh, we probably want to give you the Rune of the Furnace as well. This is so contingent on local meta as well, though. It's hard to make tweaks like this. So let's go down to 9. And then here, if we go down to 16 as well. Of course, we're 1 point over. Of course, we're 1 point over. Oh, Stubborn. You definitely want Stubborn on this unit. You want Stubborn on all of your units. If you can take it. Sure. Now it's 17 points over, so we've got to cut another. Honestly, we don't need the unit champion. That doesn't feel particularly useful. Something like this is maybe better. Did we want to change anything? Ulrich the Mad is the ignore armor saves. Honestly, I think I prefer Endless Battle. But I haven't actually played it. I don't want to make a tweak on something that I just assume is better instead of actually knowing it's better. So maybe this. I think this is probably some improvements that I'd make. Hopefully Fire Guy does watch this back. I don't think they're here. To hear some of the logic that I've gone with. I actually probably would be in favour of cutting the ranges entirely. I don't think that 8 are going to do all that much, although you can skirmish them, so maybe they are a decent way to play. But if you're playing a very different meta to what I'm used to with no dragons, I think it's a little hard for me to say what is and isn't good confidently. Anyway. Alright. Who else have we got in the chat? Have we got anyone here that I have seen the name of? Scrolling up, I feel like everyone who's typed, I have looked at their list already. But that's fine. Let's have a little Bretonnian palette cleanser, and Giles has submitted a 1,000 point list for Bretonnians, and there was definitely some typing to go with that, and I think it was a little further down as well. Let's have a look here. Where do I need to get to? Giles. Morning, I'm attending the Throne of Skulls double in August with my partner running Wood Elves, something that includes Orion. I want to run Brett's. Exile's probably a better choice, but the weird ally rules means that army, yeah. Happy with the core, but the rest of the lineup is up for grabs. I'm unsure whether Baron plus Paladin or Mega Chad Duke is the play here. 1,000 points per person. You kind of got to play Brett's if you call Giles. Yeah, I agree. So, I think realistically, Oh, God, this is difficult. So, I think given what you're pairing it with, you're pairing it with probably some sort of aggressive Wood Elf list if you're playing Orion. I think we're going to say let Orion handle the multi-damage where needed and put the Duke, the tanky Duke that can kind of just deal with all problems with the exception of chariots. Serene's Locket. So, in your terms, we're going for the Chad Duke. There we go. God, I'm so hungry. I went straight from recording to prepping for stream, so I haven't actually had any dinner. I should probably fix that in a second. By in a second, I mean in half an hour. Yeah, this leaves you with 100 points, which is a little bit difficult to fill. Maybe we just go... I understand that it's more than minimum core, but maybe we just... Oh, you're back. Hell yeah. I haven't actually looked at your list, Willem, so we can do yours next. That worked out nicely. I think you always want a unit champion if you've got a character in with a unit, because sometimes you just don't want to have to take the fight. So yeah, something like this I think is probably better. Given specifically that you're playing with Orion. So I think, yeah, let's say that. With it being 1,000 points and being Bretonians, it writes itself pretty easily. You could have, instead of going more Knights of the Realm and the War Banner, gone with slightly more Peg Knights, but honestly I think 4 is fine here. I'm hoping that your partner is bringing some sort of magic, because I think you'll need something to keep them alive. Oh, this is a good question. If a character's on a chariot, if the character takes Marcus Zinch, does the mount need also, and vice versa? This is not something I thought about until very recently, when it came up. I think you do have to, because a model can't have multiple marks, so I think you've got to pay for the mark if you upgrade it, which means that I'm more tempted to leave them unmarked. But check with your tournament organizer, whoever's running your events, because I think a lot of people are going to say, yeah, I'm trying to get this cauldron done for tomorrow. Pip made me add a rubber duck to the cauldron. That's cute. I like that. For your Dark Elves, that is. Alright, so, Gwillem, I know you put some typing. Let's have a quick look here. You also cannot have the character having undivided in the Mount of God and vice versa then. Yes, I would agree with that. Okay, so exile list for Saffron Slam end of July. Requirements: no Green Knight, you're a slow painter. You currently have painted the Peasants 2 Peg Knights, 1 Knight of the Realm. You've built and primed some stuff. You have available some more stuff. It takes me a week to paint 1 Peg Knight or Knight of the Realm. Ooh. Okay. Okay. So double bombard, a big unit of Peg Knights. I would say go down to 5. However, given that you're concerned about painting time, fair enough. And then you've got... Can't paint Knights of the Realm and Peg Knights, basically. So you think, like, all of the infantry stuff you can knock out relatively quickly, but it's specifically the characters... not the characters, the... whatchamacallit? Can't paint 2 units of pegs. That's fine. But 6 models is fine. Okay. So, how are you feeling about the Trebuchet? Could you knock that one out pretty quickly? Too much heraldry. Yes, of course, that makes sense. So the Trebuchet, even though it's a big model, it's 100 points, and it's not actually that much painting once you look at it that way. Okay, cool. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So we've got the Baron, Frontier Axe, Grommel Great Helm, Knightly Temper, Royal Peg, Exile's Vow. Yes, this is a perfect character. You can do it, airbrush that. Good stuff. So you've got 1 Baron Peg, 1 BSB Peg. Okay, so then this Pegasus, we're going BSB, Lance, Falconhorn, Enchanted Shield. That's super reasonable. I probably wouldn't put a vow on them either. The Outcast Wizard level 3 is good. Okay, so characters-wise, we're about where we'd expect to be. Huh. So the question becomes, what do we do with your core? The question really becomes, what do we do with your core? Because you're 140 points missing. I guess the Knights of the Realm, despite having Heraldry, are quicker to paint because you don't have to do Heraldry on the horses. What did he say you had? 20 peasants, 2 peasants, 1 thrall. Like, I think you probably 4 shields, though. I mean, they are better with shields, but if you don't mind going back and adding them later, that's maybe a way to avoid it. Or are you saying that each model has 4 shields on them? Not that you'd have to paint 4 shields for the unit. 4 shields on the horses. Oh, yeah. We're talking Knights of the Realm here. So, yeah. So the foot Knights of the Realm. Let's just go... And this is... Let's be clear. This is not necessarily good. But it is points dense. So if you're willing to do 15 Knights of the Realm... Foot Knights are easy. Okay, great. How do you feel about the Standard Bearer? Is the Standard adding too much? Because if honestly, they're really points dense for what they are. So if you wanted to go like so, I don't think there's anything in the magic items that's worth putting on. No. You could go a single obsidian lodestone, that's not worth taking. Yeah, so like the unit of 20, I have given them shields just because they're points dense, but you could do without. It's only 20 points. And the question becomes, oh, we can go... Oh, yeah, we can go Ruby Ring of Ruin on this guy. Cool. And then you're only 30 points under. So we can give them skirmishes. That's fine. Is there anything that we want to go with? Is there anything that's worth giving? So we're looking to spend 30 points. So let's just have a look at the Virtue of Purity. No. Duty. I can't join a unit, so that's no good. Virtue of the Joust. Nope. No, there's nothing there that's worth doing. This guy... Oh, Blessed Triptych. There we go. That is a lot of points. Sweet. This unit's good. Yeah, I think this is the most competent version of the list you've put together with the sort of limitations we have. And you've even got 5 points spare, 6 points. So we're going to go Gauntlet of the Duel on the Baron. And that is a 2,000 points list. And it's funny because you say you're not bothered about it being too meta. It's still Bretonians with loads of Peg Knights and War Machines and good characters. I think this might just be quite a good list, which is funny. Yeah. Okie dokie. So, hold on, let me disable streamer mode. Capybara Eater. So it looks like you've put a list in. Unfortunately, I can't pick up lists while I am streaming. There's a lot of prep that goes into it, and I set those before. But there will be another stream next week where I can give advice on your list. I will open up submissions next Thursday or Friday. I'll ping you when, and then if you submit your list after I've put that submission deadline in, I'll absolutely get to your list on that stream. Ruben, please don't apologize. Don't feel like you need to apologize at all. It's just the system of making sure I get to the people who have submitted already, and then also just not sitting and doing loads of admin in front of people on stream. But yeah, you know, you're new to the Discord, I see. You can't read minds. You haven't done anything wrong. But yeah, when I put the call out next Thursday or Friday, just make sure to submit the list, and I will get to it there. All right. What haven't we looked at yet? So we looked at the Exiles. We've got, looks like 5 lists left, and I think that we've left some of the slightly more complicated ones at the end. So Phenomenal Badger. I don't know if it's you that submitted this list before, but there have been a couple of people, or there have been a couple of times where people have tried to submit a poison shooting brick for Glade Guard. I don't think it works, because if you look at how many points you're spending per Glade Guard, what are they? 12? 13 per model. I think you can make a Doomslayer Brett Duke. I think the Brett Duke is already Doomslayer. I think the Bretonnian characters are the most cracked characters in the game, even more so than the Chaos Lord, which is wild to say. Okay, so you've got this list here. So I don't think this list concept works, unfortunately. I think the models are too expensive to do the thing that you want to do. It takes away, you haven't really got room for anything else, but I will respond to the list as is written, so tweaks to the list that you've got here. So here we've got a Great Lord on Stag, who is Ogre Blade Talisman Protection. This is... honestly, this is a decent way to take it. I prefer going for the defensive loadout, so you get to that 2-up save, but honestly, like, you know, fair. And you can go for the Mark of the Bear or the Kindred of the Bear to give it +1 strength and toughness. I think that would be really good on this build here, which makes you more tough anyway, so it gives you a little bit of flexibility. The Spellweaver here, Battle Magic, this is a good loadout. Lamentation of Despairs I don't think does anything at all. Not realistically, because you're not causing terror. And it's only for Fear, Panic, or Terror Test, right? And you don't cause terror with this. Oh, okay, the Glade Captain does cause terror. But this is on foot, and the Glade Captain is... I guess. Sure. Look at what elves need to mimic even a fraction of the humble Skeleton Archer's power. Yeah, I mean, I think you can do... I mean, obviously you can do poison shooting with elves. I think you just do it in skirmish, and you play the misdirection game instead of the I have the straight power. It is immune to terror, though, so that's something. And then we've got this character here with Lord Familiar Power Scroll. So this is a good loadout. I like what you've done here. You've identified the need to elementalism around. Honestly, maybe you just go double elementalism caster. I don't know if you need battle magic. I assume you're doing it for the Curse of Our Attraction. Quick shot banner might help. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Means you can't get snuck up on. Yeah, that's a big thing, honestly. But even then, if you stand and shoot, you're 55, so what, you're probably going like 11 wide by 5. By the time your characters are in there, you lose 1 for the wizard. Yeah, just 1 shot. You've got 10 shots. You're not actually doing all that much for combat res. For dragons, if you're being snuck on, I guess that helps. I think we definitely just go double elementalism, and you hope that you roll the spells that you want here. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sure what the Glade Riders are doing. Oh, no, I am. They're escorting the Glade Lord. Okay, that makes sense. Sure, I see what you're going for, but you're playing a 2-unit army is the problem. And I just don't think that you can win. If you look at, like, Tomb Kings, for example, they might take 60 Skeleton Archers, but then they've also got 2 Necrosphinxes, a dragon, you know, potentially other things in there as well. And it's just really hard to replicate that when you've got all your points tied up in basically naked T3 elves. How long has the stream been going? 1:42. So I'm going to go at Phenomenal Badger. I'm going to have to take off streamer mode again so I can actually see. Talked about the list at roughly 1:35-ish. Because I don't think there are tweaks that I can make to the list. I don't think that it works. I think it's too many points, like too many eggs in one basket, and the basket doesn't actually do enough. I quite like some of the aspects of the list. Like, I feel like it's been maximized pretty well to the design of the list. I just don't know if it can be tweaked to deal with meta lists realistically. But yeah, like I say, I like the way it's been written. There's a lot of stuff in here that makes sense. Like, a big issue with poison bricks is psychology, so making them immune to terror by giving the captain terror is good. Does mean that people have to terror test to charge you as well, which is nice. I think there's good stuff in here. I feel bad about saying that I don't think the list works, because I think the list construction is good. It's just I don't know that the idea works. It's very similar to the shooting I was talking about earlier, but in this case there is poison. It's just that each model is so expensive that it's hard to justify putting all your eggs in that basket, right? Papa Wheelie, I don't know if anyone is really talking about it. I think you could have submitted and no one would have known, including you. This literally just come up in like an internal chat for Team England the other day. So if we were all just figuring that out less than a month ago, I think a lot of people might not have clocked it either. Or we're just really stupid. Want to make sure that that is an option as well. Okay. Okay. Cool. So O. Dot submitted a list which was triple wizards for Empire. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. How far have I gone up? Not far enough. I think it was around... There's probably got to be a better way. I could probably just find in page. Here we go. On my quest to make the most competitive list for the Empire, and I found a build in the Triple Wizard. Any points to make this more competitive are appreciated. Okay, so we've got a Wizard Lord General, who is Arcane Familiar Battle Magic. I don't like the Arcane Familiar tech. I think it takes away from your likelihood of getting the good spells in Battle Magic. I understand that Empire players do it, but I'm just not on board. But I'm not going to tweak it, because people do it, and if you like it, I don't think you're necessarily wrong to do so. Level 4 Tome of Midnight Battle Magic Caster on a Pegasus. Big fan of that. That's the tech. I don't know if it was, talked about here first, but it definitely does shock people when you bring up the fact that they get the 5th spell. So, love to see that. And then you've got the Illusion Power Scroll Lore Familiar Ruby Ring Caster. I think the Ruby Ring doesn't go there. I think that's wrong, because I think this caster wants to be basically just positioning to defend. So you probably want to have this on just the straight Battle Magic caster. That makes the most sense to me. Like so. Then you've got Knights of the White Wolf. 8 of them. This is fine. You could give them a banner. You could not give them a banner. Both are okay. Cool. That's fine as well. Archers is good. Demigryph. Silver Horn. That's reroll the Swift Stride dice. And Witch Hunter's Ward for the magic resist. Yeah, this is good. Icon of More giving them terror. I really like that. Full plate Lancers. Triple Cannon. I'd like to see Hellblasters in here, but I think you're giving up too much to see the Hellblasters in there. You're basically giving up this, right? And I actually quite like this unit, especially with 2 Battle Magic casters who are able to make it move faster. Can you use Lore Familiar with the new Wood Elf Arcane item to always get Fireball Pillar, new Lore Magic Missile? Okay. I don't think so. I think the way that the new Arcane item works is it just allows you to select spells from that lore in the way that you normally select spells from one of the lores. I think it basically just adds 1 lore to the spells you can pick from, but you still have to pick a single lore, and you still put that lore on your roster. So If you're picking that, it's because you want to take that lore specifically. If I'm wrong, honestly, pretty okay with that in terms of Wood Elves having something a little bit busted. But yeah, I think that's how it reads for me. If I remember, I'll ask one of my judge friends, and they can give me a ruling as to how they think it should run. But yeah, I think this list is good. I don't like this loadout, but that's personal preference. I've moved the Ruby Ring to this character. The Illusion Caster is here. Honestly, maybe the Illusion Caster is the one that is the general. But then it is going to be flying very close to the sun, so probably not on retrospect. I think this is good. Like, I don't think there's much to change. Empire points kind of sit in a weird place where you just go, I either play cannons, I play Hellblasters, or I don't. And if you're not running basically the 500 points here in artillery, you have points to do some other interesting stuff. And yeah, you've done some other interesting stuff instead of going for the double Hellblaster. I think that's super fine. Yeah. I don't know how I'd squeeze more juice out of this list. I think I'd struggle to. So yeah, literally just tweaked here, and maybe you tweak who the general is, but I think actually that makes sense. This does make sense as to who the general is. Cool. Good stuff. Sometimes feels a bit bad not to make many changes to a list, but if people have written a very efficient list, I don't want to make changes just for the sake of making changes. That doesn't feel good. Okay, so let's have a look next at, I guess, Banana Daiquiri's Dark Elves, question mark. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, so my main goal for the list: include a BSB that doesn't die when glanced stat. Yep, hard. Include Blackguard and Cold One Knights. Dreadlord goes in Knights, Supreme Sorceress goes in the Blackguard. Obviously, this isn't a tournament focus list, super fine. My concern is everything is stretched a little thin in terms of upgrades and numbers. I did consider Dark Magic on a Mounted Sorceress. Let's have a look here. So, we've got the Dreadlord, who is Ogre Blade, Talisman, and Protection on a Cold One. I like this. This is probably a build that I'm going to experiment with myself. You're relatively tanky. You're T4, because you're on a Cold One, which is not amazing, but it's fine. You've got 3 wounds, but you've got a 2-up save and a 5-up ward. I think it's very respectable. Then we've got the Master BSB. Oh, okay. So you've gone for the War Banner. Yeah. Like this. Like what you've done. So you've only got a 4-up save in combat is the problem, which is a little bit rough. But you were also pretty spent on points. Is it T4 or T5? It is T5. Okay, so that's good at least. T5 with a 2-up save against shooting, but only a 4-up save in combat. And the Charioteers kind of suck, actually. I was looking at these the other day, and I didn't realise they only had bloody cavalry spears. I think this is still, fine to play around with this, especially if you're not playing super cutthroat. I think this loadout's fine. Like, I want to tweak it, but I don't know how to tweak it. Like, I want to get it to a better save in combat, but I just don't know how you do that, because I'm not standing here with a hand weapon with no additional rules, You got to do something. You got a great weapon, so I think it's just the 4-up save is fine. Yeah. And we've got On Foot, Tome of Fury, and Battle Magic, and this is going in the unit. Okay, this needs some level of defense. You've used both ward saves. Ugh. Okay. This character's gonna die real fast. I don't have any advice to keeping it alive, though. That is difficult. And then you've got a level 2 Lore Familiar Battle Magic caster. That's good. I like that. Dark Riders, Repeater Crossbowman. That's fine. I actually don't hate this change, honestly. This is how I would equip them. This is how I'd equip them. Because you've got at least one wizard that's going to join one of them, so yeah, that's fine. You definitely want a magic banner in here. Banner of Harganeth on this is fine. I actually wonder if you want it on the Blackguard, but probably not, just because you're not going to get anything done otherwise. I think this needs to be Demonology, because then you can Steed of Shadow around, so you can actually get them somewhere, and then you can Demonic Vessel to get them to 2 attacks each at strength 5 AP2, and you also give them +1 toughness for, you know, the round, and it makes your charge a little bit easier. I'm really worried about you dying, though. I don't know how you get around that. I really don't know how you get around that. Yeah. I think you kind of just have to suck it up, unfortunately. What banner do we want to put in here? At the very least, we want to... I know, War Banner's already gone. Oh, and then the banner of... Right, they've got stubborn already. I'm not paying that. And they're not going to charge. Yeah, I guess there's no banner that's worth putting on them. I wouldn't mind giving him magic resist here. I think that's worth a couple of models. You just go probably Spelliterax, and then you drop 2 models to make up for it. Hold on a second. There's 16 points a model. That's how maths works. God damn it. Maybe you drop a musician. They are drilled, so you could drop the musician here. I don't love doing that, though. Ugh. I don't really love... I don't want to go down lower than that anyway. I think it's important to have the magic resist. Which means you might have to go down to 14 models, which I hate. That feels rough. I don't want to go down to 6. Although you probably could go down to 6 actually here. Let's go down to 6 here, because you're joining them with the Dreadlord, so 6 is fine, because you've already got the punch in that unit. At which point we can go back up to 17. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Straight swap, Spelliterax, and we just drop a Cold One Knight, because you're going to join it with the Dreadlord anyway. I think this is tweaked to how you've got your list set up. I hope that's helpful. And if not, of course, do say in the Dark Elf section, and I will, you know, see if there's anything else that we can tweak there. Cool. So we've got a couple more lists. We've got a Warriors of Chaos. We've got 2 Warriors of Chaos, actually. And both of them are comped. Yes, that was why I saved them to the end. So the 2 comps, but they're 2 slightly different comps. So let's just have a quick look at the first one. Here we go. You gonna open? There we go. So we're looking at Lex. Ooh. Okay. It's... Yeah, that's fine. So, it is the German comp. Let's see what their most recent shenanigans are. It's always really involved. Let's have a look here. So for Chaos, 0 to 4 of Golruk, Chaos Dragon, Warpfire Dragon, Sorcerer Lord counts as 2. Right, yeah, that you said no Infernal Puppets, so that's why it's not in. 0 to 4 unit of all characters of the monster or chariot type. Sure. So basically you can't put in this list the Infernal Puppet. Oh no, sorry, that's a different one. That's why there was no dragon. Am I looking at the correct one? Is this Lex Moon's list? No, I'm looking at Calamities. Let's look at Calamities first, because this is the one that I'm reading the rules for. So, this one doesn't have Infernal Puppet, because you've got 2 points for Sorcerer Lord and 2 points for Warpfire Dragon. God, I hate this sort of comp. Like, already going to fucking super restricted. Yeah, so you're trying Friedal, right? That was what you said. Toying testing out Friedal to bring extra threat to gun lines. Why does Friedal bring extra threat to gun lines? I guess for the ambush, right? I think it has to be for the ambush. +1, -1 for... Yep, that's fine. And then you've got Commander and Captain, increased leadership, but it's also General, so leadership 10 on her. Chainmaker. Yeah, okay. I don't think Friedal is worth taking. However, if you want to test her, I think it's worth testing her. I just don't think she necessarily makes the cut. Like, in melee, you kind of want your characters to do a lot of the lifting in melee, right? And she's strength 6, AP 1, 4 plus D3 attacks, which is fine. And then you lose the strength. But, like, the lack of AP kind of sucks. I know you're going to see less dragons, but I think you still just see dragons. And I don't know how this list necessarily deals with them. Like, instead of this, I would just go Chaos Lord, right? Because then you can deal with the dragon. And then once you've dealt with the dragon, because you're playing German comp, they probably don't have a second big threat to follow it up. Blur, German comp. Yeah, I'll be honest. That's how I'm starting to feel about, well, just comp in general. I don't want to play it. This is good. This unit here. I like them. Icon of Darkness for -1 to be shot is probably fine. I don't find that there's that much ballistic skill shooting, but I guess when you come up against dwarves, it's probably quite important to have something to try and keep them alive. This unit's interesting. You've got everyone Mark of Khorne, and then you've got Friedal, so I think I'd be really worried about losing your unit, honestly. Mark of Tzeentch caster for the demonic mount. Yeah. Yeah, I think this loadout's good. I think the core makes sense, although it is aggressively Mark of Khorne, which is not a problem. Chosen Knights are good. Triple Shartak, or 2 Shartaks and 1 without Shartak, because he didn't have the points, which is fair enough. And then Dragon as well. I don't think there's anything in the pack that says you can't take... Hold on. Let's have a look here. Yeah, there's nothing stopping you from taking... Oh god, there's so many pages. Yeah, I don't think there's anything stopping you from running the Chaos Lord. I mean, I think the list is just out and out better if you do that. So, at what time are we in? 21:59. So, hopefully, Calamity listens to the reasoning for why I'm tweaking this, because I think it's worth doing. Mark of Nurgle can go in. You want it to not die. Hey, Entropy. It's 7 a.m. here in Oz.
It's 7 a.m. here in Oz.
I think you can go back to bed if you want, buddy. No one would judge you. That would seem super reasonable to me. In fact, probably just 3 Faves of the Gods, right? Like, I think this is just out and out better. Having this Chaos Lord who can kill dragons combined with the Warp Fire Dragon. And then you lose, like, this and... probably, honestly, the Icon of Darkness. Can we shave to here? Still 3 points over, that's annoying. So we just have to lose the fact that this is a Shartak as well. Like, this is the version that I'd probably play. I think the version that you have put in kind of maximizes what you're going for, but I also just don't think that you can deal with dragons with that list. So I think just going for the Chaos Lord with the Ogre Blade, who then combos with the Warpfire Dragon flying around, and the Chosen Chaos Knights. I think that just makes you one of the most dominant lists overall. I need to... Hold on. Calamity. So how far into the stream were we? Discussed around... I guess it was 1 hour 50-ish. So I don't want to just like copy and paste having made some changes that are contrary to what they've put in. But yeah, I think like there's a reason we don't see anyone running Friedel, and it's not that Friedel's necessarily bad, although I don't think she's super points efficient. I think she just doesn't add anything to the list in terms of winning the game, which I think is a problem. Maybe the core then has to change, but I think this core is fine even without Friedel. Maybe there's tweaks to be made there. And finally, we've got Lex Moon's list as well. So we've got another Warriors of Chaos list. Let's have a look, because this was comp as well. But this comp was a little bit different. So this was more Warhammer World comp as well, I think. Max 500 points in characters, only 1 level 4, 1 level 3, rule of 3, rule of 6 for core, no dragons or monsters. You've got more knights, horsemen, dogs, and chariots. So this is interesting in that there's no dragons, and it's just completely different. So, here, Mark of Slanesh, the reason that the units of 4 work for Mark of Khorne is because Mark of Khorne means that a unit of 4 models puts out 12 attacks. If you're going Slanesh, they just don't hit anywhere near hard enough. So I think you either, if you want to go Slanesh, you need to go bigger units, but honestly I don't think Slanesh is particularly worth going. And then you've got these 2 units that are equipped with basically nothing. I don't think that's worth doing. I'd give them at least, you've got cavalry spears for free. You could do some other stuff in here, shields perhaps. Putting back how Warriors of Chaos deal with dragons. Did you put the previous Chaos Lord and Steed only? Is that all that's needed? As in the Lord with the enchanting aura, Steed not as important. So the reason the Steed is good, because it gets you to a 2-up armor save, and then it's difficult for a dragon to chew through you, because AP 2 on a 2-up save means that you're making a lot of 4-up saves, and then you've got the inbuilt 5-up ward as well. And they can spike and kill you, but it's difficult, because their strikes last, so you get to hit them first. You've got the Ogre Blade, so you do really well. If you've only got a 3-up save, because you're on foot, it's a lot less reliable, because you've got a 5-up save there. Yeah, so that's... Basically, the difference is you fail 1 in 3 saves if you've got a 2-up save and a 5-up ward on the Chaos Lord, and you fail 45% of saves if you've got a 5-up, a 3-up armor save becoming a 5-up. No worries, Benny. Happy to answer questions. If people don't want to watch, there's not a lot of point in me doing it, and having people ask questions is a good way for me to provide value to people watching. It's great that we've got more people coming to the community as well, both the stream but also just Old World in general. So, Blasted Standard. Oh yeah, that was it. This is the basically chosen Death Star, which I think is spicy, honestly. So, you can hear the music now, you'll be glad to know. Perfect, you've cleaned your ears out, Strifey. I think this song is louder than the previous ones. My rudeness aside. So, the reason this is level 3 instead of level 4 is because you can only have 1 level 3 caster, 1 level 4 caster. So, I'd like to see at least heavy armor. I'd like to see armor of meteoric iron, but I guess that's not super important. Ruby Ring of Ruin is good. Favor of the Gods, Infernal Puppet, Spell Familiar. That just all makes sense. Sorcerer Lord, Mark of Nurgle, level 4 is fine. Chaos Steed, obviously this is going to be buffing up the Chosen. Spell Familiar, Favor of the Gods. I'd quite like to see a regen save, because this, I feel like this character is incredibly squishy compared to the rest of the unit, so let's put a regen on them to try and keep them alive. And then we've got the Exalted Champion, who's got the Icon of Darkness, Lance, Mark of Nurgle, Steed, Meteoric Iron, Favour of the Gods. But that does put us 9 points over. Okay, so what if we don't pay for that? That puts us 3 points over. We could probably just drop the Favour of the Gods off the Sorcerer Lord, honestly. Like, it's cool that you can roll on them, but I think it's better just for them to stay alive because you've got the regen save. Realistically. Central North Wales, there's a new group of Old World guys who are going Northeast Wales for a beginner's type tourney on the 24th of May. Hell yeah! Oh, that'll be fun. I really like Old World, but I find I have the most fun with the game when I'm learning it. So, new additions, new armies, or just, you know, swapping to a new game, like going from 40k to Old World is something I enjoy doing. So these, we're going to give them at least cavalry spears. We've mentioned that already. They now do something, but I still don't love them. And I think here we probably just have to lose a model. That's fine. And then, yeah, 9 instead of 10 doesn't actually make a difference realistically. And we just go, let's give these models shields so they can not die immediately to fireball. Something like this, I think, is fine. I think I like the direction that Lexmoon's gone in. So you've got a Blastocaster here that's a little unreliable because it's only got 4 spells. But, you know, it's fine. You've got the Sorcerer Lord that's buffing the Death Star to the 9s. You've got the Exalted Champion. Between the two of them, they are going to... It's like -2 to hit rerolling 1s on the armor save of the Chosen Knights. Because they've got the Diabolic Splendor here for -1 to be hit in the shooting phase. There's the Icon of Darkness, which provides -1 to be shot in the shooting phase. It's probably overkill, but if you come up against dwarves, you'll be happy for it, so, you know, sure. Yeah, and then they're just going to drive around and run people over. Honestly, this might be too mean if you're playing like a non-dragon comp, but I don't know how competitive your local meta is. I think this is interesting. So we'll go at Lexmoon, and there we go. That is the tweaks that I'd make to the list there. Perfect. Well, it has been fun all. I need to go get some food because I've been talking Warhammer for about 80% of my waking hours today. Oh, Lexmoon's here. Hey, you playing to a lot of shooting at the club? You're going to be no one's favourite person then if you're -2 to be hit. I think that's very funny. You're welcome. Thank you for submitting your list. But yeah, honestly, in your meta, that seems like a bit of a nightmare. I kind of remember, I want to say it was 6th edition, the 6th edition Chaos book, or maybe the 7th edition, like if it came out towards the beginning of 7th edition. I just remember sort of plotting these massive unkillable Death Stars that I probably would have played horrendously, but no one would have got any points out of me, and I'd have got no points out of anyone, because just no one wanted to charge like 1,800 points of characters and stuff. Yeah. Enjoy my dinner. Thanks for listening. You're welcome. Thank you all. And have a good weekend. There's going to be loads more videos coming. We've got a deep dive that has been recorded. I just need to edit. That'll be going up tomorrow, probably 1 o'clock BST for Wood Elves, and then there's going to be another video. I haven't decided what I want to talk about for Wood Elves on Sunday, but then, yeah, we'll probably, Tuesday will be some sort of Wood Elf stream. I'm not sure what sort of Wood Elf stream yet, but there will be something. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll tap up one of the other very good Wood Elf players I know to get them to come on as well. Have a good